for the technical difficulty. As Kim said, today's topic is why consider integrating Dynamics CRM/365 with Dynamics GP. My name is Ryan Talsman. I'm the CRM product manager here at InterDyn BMI. So our agenda for today is going to be a brief introduction to Dynamics 365. The audience being varying degrees of familiarity with Dynamics 365 or CRM. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I want to make sure that everybody's caught up and can get the full benefit of the webinar here. And then next we're going to go into a demonstration of an integrated sales process in Dynamics 365. I'm a firm believer in not going too much depth by PowerPoint, so we'll start with some slides, but then we're going to actually get into some live demonstration of the product. And finally we'll move to Q&A. So we already did our poll here. So moving into our slide here, so Dynamics 365, and what I want to quick discuss is, what's the marketing about and help you understand. So the idea is to have this integrated one Microsoft platform that utilizes the processes that you're already familiar with. So starting with a deep integration between Dynamics 365 and Office 365, which brings together the two worlds of business processes and personal productivity with familiar tools like Outlook, Excel, and Word, which I'm sure you're all using at this time. Today's focus is going to be in the sales module here, but I like to show this slide because really what the vision here is this integrated platform that as you continue to build out your processes, you can add these different components that all speak together within this common application platform and data model. And then finally, useful tools such as Power BI, Cortana Intelligence, and Azure IoT or Internet of Things, which we won't get too much into today, but I just like to mention that they are natively embedded into Dynamics 365 business applications for predictive insights, prescriptive advice, and actionable next steps. So a little bit more on Microsoft Dynamics 365. Across the top you can see the different mediums that you're able to access this application. So the ability to access it directly within the web browser, which we'll be doing today, but also the ability to access it directly from Outlook, which, anytime you're implementing a database system, whether it's ERP, CRM, or anything else, any type of familiarity that you can use to jumpstart that user adoption is going to be key. A system can only be as strong as the users that are using it, and by utilizing these familiar tools, giving you the ability to have it integrate with Outlook, allowing them to use their browser of choice, so on and so forth. It really helps aid that user adoption. And finally, obviously moving into the future, and where we see a lot of our customers lagging behind, where this product has really helped a lot, is that mobile phone/tablet, empowering our sales force to have this information at their fingertips at all times. So as I said, today we're going to be focusing on the sales component, but keep in mind as we're going through that Dynamics CRM can also be used to track your customer service responses, so cases, knowledge base articles, as well as marketing. So when we're talking about marketing, we're talking about potential email blasts, being able to create targeted marketing lists, and using that actionable data that's in this system to make sure that you're reaching out to the customers the best of your ability. And then finally, extended CRM, which we kind of have nicknamed XRMs, the ability to manage any type of relationship item that exists for your customers. So just keep in mind that Dynamics CRM was initially built at its core as a development platform. So the ability to add custom entities and whatever else that you need to do to make it fit your specific business processes, it has that capability. And then finally, the ability to have it hosted in the cloud on Microsoft Secure Server or on-prem. So really quick, the key benefits that you're trying to gain from Dynamics 365 for sales. You're trying to grow your business, keep your sales force focused on what they need to focus on, and close those deals faster. And this is accomplished by providing all users the ability to access information in real time, worldwide, from a number of devices that we mentioned, such as web, phone, tablet, directly within Outlook. It gives you that 360-degree view of the customer, showing a number of things that you need to know before reaching out, such as who else in my company has been working with this account. We can all go back to that real-life example where we've reached out to a customer, about a service case, for example, and they can say, we've already had this resolved, or I've already spoke to this person, gave them all this information, I can't believe I have to give it back to you again. So keeping that 360-degree view, knowing what sales, customer service, accounting if there's any payment issues, having all that information on one easy-to-view screen that can be opened up at any time. So with that, let's start talking about what we're going to be getting into today. So what I'm going to go through is a general sales process within Dynamics 365. So it starts at a lead for a new customer, and then transforms into an account, which is, for those of you that use GP, which is the majority of you, is similar to your customer card. The contacts being the individuals that work for those given customers, and the opportunity. So an opportunity just being a sales engagement that's been qualified past our pre-stages, and then inevitably having it turn into a quote, an order, an invoice using the automation pre-built in the Dynamics 365, which streamlines the process, ensures accuracy, so on and so forth. So why integrate? What's the key reasons why we want to do this? Obviously, if you're going to be investing in something, you need to see the benefits. So the first one, having full visibility across the entire information rather than having it in silos. The necessity to eliminate constantly emailing between different members of your organization, trying to figure out, was this invoice sent? Did anybody work on this customer service case? Being able to have that full visibility across all the different silos of your business. Efficiency, reduce duplicate entry. I can't tell you how many customers after an integration, we've had users say that this took away half the day or half their time that they spent on a day having to double enter things into separate systems, having to keep certain people up to date. And then finally, your ROI. If you're going to invest in it, obviously you need to get that money back. And as far as integrations go, that's where we really see our customers getting that ROI back as soon as possible. And that's just, again, due to the efficiency gained. If we're talking about saving somebody 25%, that's salary there, and then across the entire organization, giving them much more actionable reporting capabilities that they can make strategic decisions on. So all that are the three key reasons why I see to integrate, along with many more. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the actual demonstration here. I'm going to pull up my live CRM organization. So I'll pull this over. I'll let that load up here. So what we see here, and Kim, really quick, can you tell me how's the size? Are you able to see the text? Do I need to zoom in at all?
It's not bad at all.
Okay, excellent. So we'll get back into this later, but we touched on the reporting capabilities of Dynamics CRM, and the key thing to keep in mind is, everything that you see on this screen right now, first of all, comes out of the box, but the ability to create these charts and graphs is very easy. There's no lines of code that you have to write. You really don't even need an IT background. We see all sorts of people with business, communications backgrounds creating charts, graphs, and creating their own queries. Dynamics CRM is built to be a system for those type of people. The low adoption rates and just the very intuitive, familiar interfaces that they're used to working with Microsoft on a daily basis. So to start today, we're going to start at the beginning of our sales process that I discussed, and that's in our leads. Now, I've already created a lead here. I'll let this pull up. So again, to remind you of the vernacular here, a lead is essentially a sales engagement that hasn't yet been qualified. To put an example, say we met Will Smith here at a trade show. We have this information here. We haven't really talked to him about even what products he's that interested in. He could just be, a person that walked by, shook our hand, didn't even know what our processes were, or, the solutions that we offer. So we want to first go through our initial steps of vetting this lead. And one of the really cool pieces of functionality that we have in Dynamics 365 is this integrated process flow. And again, everything that you see on these screens are completely configurable, and pretty much all of it can be done with no code. So for example, in our process, we need to first determine, what is their purchase time frame. They're looking to purchase this quarter. They have an estimated budget of $5,000, their purchase process, so on and so forth. And as I complete these tasks, you can see that it's giving me a checkbox as I go through. So you can see where you left off in this sales process. So to go through what we're seeing on the form here as well, you can just give it a generic topic name. We have our individual Will Smith that we met. We grabbed his job title, key contact information, the company that he works for. So after we go through these above mentioned steps, I can then qualify this lead. And what that's going to do is it's going to create an account, a contact, and an opportunity. So as I'm going through, I can go ahead, I can have initial follow-up phone calls, tasks. I can add things to do, and again, with that native integration with Outlook, you can have these to-do tasks sync automatically with your tasks in Outlook, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. So I can say, follow up tomorrow, and the details of what I need to follow up on. I can set that for tomorrow. And you'll see this coming up not only on the activities here, but I have an activities list as well on my dashboard. So I can always see, what my to-do list is for the day. So I went ahead and qualified this lead ahead of time, as we've already seen with this webinar, prepare for the unexpected. So rather than having it generate those records, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my already created opportunity. That's right here. So I qualified that lead, and then it generates this opportunity. So when you think of an opportunity again, think about that qualified sales engagement. I've reached out to Will Smith. I've determined that he's interested in this product and that it would be a good fit for him. It's then also automatically created an account for his company's central distributing, as well as a contact for Will Smith. So you can see here we have this control that we can then submit to GP automatically, or you can have it be manual. So those are just some of the things that we can do here within our integration. It's flexible to have it be created automatically or manual. You can have information flowing both ways. So for example, if you make an update in GP, it could then update CRM, or you can have it go both ways, where if you update it in CRM, it can also update in GP. So, again, if you have any specific questions on anything I'm going through here, feel free to put it in. But if you have specific questions, your specific business needs, we'd love to have a follow-up conversation with you about that. So moving forward to some of the things that you see on the account record here, account name, phone, a website. We have a native integration to Bing Maps. So this address that we entered earlier, I can now see on Bing Maps. It's again just building that customer relationship, saying, oh yeah, I have family out in Alaska. I'm familiar with the area. Giving the salespeople as much of an edge as they possibly can. Again, we have the ability to track activities, phone calls, tasks that have taken place with this account, as well as see the contacts that work there. So again, this contact was automatically created when I generated the lead. And you can see his basic information here. And then finally, I'll go back to our opportunity and continue with the sales process. So here we are back at our opportunity. Again, you can see our sales process. So we've completed the qualify step. We can then move towards our develop phase, where we have these specific steps, as well as future stages. And each one of these stages are going to have different steps for me to complete. So you can see as I navigate through this, I can identify stakeholders. So who else other than Will Smith is somebody I need to speak to about this deal? Sales team members. So if I'm working with Brian DeWolf on this deal, I can add him as well. And as we go through, we'll eventually get to the point where we start generating our quotes based off of products that we can add. And again, with products, we have the ability to generate these directly from GP as well. So if I pull up my slide deck here, I have an example of what a product looks like. So you should be very familiar with this screen here. So you can see that by having that integrated process, you can add products to GP, have them submit automatically to CRM, and update that record directly. So I can go ahead and pull that up here, and by adding these products, it automatically has standard price lists. So again, you give the salespeople control to add these products, but it's still managed on the back end by your accounting, your rigorous accounting processes on the back end. So as I said, we can generate quotes from this opportunity, and when I click this to add it open, it automatically pulls all that information when that was in there. So the title of the opportunity, the products that we had, the extended total amounts, the potential customers. So with this quote, again, with it having integrated to that Microsoft Office, that back end, you can then have it integrate to Office Word to have custom Word templates that you can use as a direct quoting system. So again, currently we see customers all the time that have GP. They have either some other form of CRM or just currently using Excel spreadsheets or even worse, file cabinets to track their deals, as well as having a separate quoting system. So by having all this in Dynamics 365, you empower your sales team with information and the ability to work all completely within one platform. Okay? So once we generate our quote, we then have the ability to generate orders. So I can go see any related orders that have been generated from this quote. And again, it's going to take all that information automatically over. So with one click, I can generate this quote. It pulls in this information. And from here, you can have it set up to automatically sync to GP and create this order in there. Or you can, again, select a manual process to have this submit. But within one click now, you have this within your ERP system. There's no double entry. There's no need to hire admins to do this full-time to manage orders between two separate systems. One click, that's all it is, and now it's in your GP system. So again, I have a sample order here. You can see it's got all the same information. It's got my product. It's got my extended line amounts. So now on the accounting side, we can get this through our standard processing. So again, streamlining that process, saving time, ensuring accuracy. I used to work for a company where we had two separate systems, and all the time we'd submit an order, and they'd have to manually key that information in, and if they put a 2 or a 10 instead of 100, it gets the whole thing wrong. You have to start all over. So it ensures that accuracy. So I'm sure many of you are thinking about those types of things, your current processes that you're working within, that this probably could be saving you a lot of time and money. So as you're probably familiar with, within GP, you can then generate invoices from those orders, and then at that point we can have it sync back into CRM. So let's show you. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So again, I generated this order, or this invoice came in from GP, and now you can see it related back. So that integration on the back end is intuitive enough to know, okay, this record has this ID, I need to tie it back. So again, being a salesperson, I now have all this access to the information without the ability to come back in and change these prices and things like that in the invoice. It's locked so that despite them being a salesperson, they aren't able to mess up the accounting side. You're still able to create those barriers to ensure accuracy of audits and things like that. So that is the general sales process flow for Dynamics 365, as it would integrate with GP. Now there are a couple other key pieces of functionality that I did want to show you. So again, this is great. It gives you that integrated process flow. The ability to streamline the process from lead inception to close at the invoice. But now what do we do with this data? We have all this great data in one place. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have the ability to report on all this stuff. So building these custom dashboards for specific people. So the one I'm looking at here, the sales activity social dashboard, is more of a management type dashboard. I can see the entire company's pipeline of deals. I can see what's new on the customers that I follow, being able to track, where are our leads coming in by source? Are they mostly coming in through trade shows, advertisements, our top opportunities, and then finally our top customers, so that integration with GP, being able to see, that those closed invoices that show that actionable data, who are our top customers, who are spending the most money with us, as well as the ability to have, again, my own task list. So that's some of the power that is generated within the reports of Dynamics 365. The other thing to keep in mind as we're going through, always keep in mind that this is all mobile. These dashboards, these accounts, these contacts, our list of customers are all available at, within our employees, our sales forces, phones, tablets, laptops. Being able to access this data at any time is extremely powerful, and that's something that Microsoft is continually upgrading and streamlining those processes. Furthermore, if I go to our account, so I have this entire list of customers here, I can go to Central Distributing. So I can see now, if I expand out this tab, I have some pre-built reports that show all the invoices that I have. I have the ability to look at these invoices year over year, start noticing these trends. In 2013, we started at this much, and we can see this gradual upward trend. You can see how you're on track for 2017. So again, this is where you really start seeing that ROI, is your salespeople have this information without having to reach out to anybody to get these reports. These are updated in real time. So as soon as I get an invoice into the system, this bar now ticks up, and I can see that information. So with that, that's the general flow of the process, what you start seeing as far as reporting. What I can also do is I can start generating targeted marketing lists. So we have this powerful advanced buying tool where I mentioned that you're able to create queries and generate actionable items that you can take from this. So for example, if I want to see all my invoices for a specific product and I want to send a targeted marketing blast to them, I can go ahead and pull my saved views here. And I do want to show you this just to show you a little bit of the back-end interface, just to show you how simple this is. So basically I'm saying, I want to see all the invoices that I have for my current customers that, these invoices have been generated in the last 5 years for a specific existing product. So each one of these things are just drop-downs. Every single one of these is a field. It's essentially programming made as simple as possible. So I can generate this list, and I can see all the customers that I have, all the invoices that I've generated that have those specific products. So I can grab these, and I can, create tasks for every single one of these. I can send emails, so on and so forth. So that's just some of the reporting power that we have within, this system. So I do want to get back to my slide deck really quick here for some closing remarks. So for the, I kind of skipped through this slide here that I want to come back to. So this is kind of a general flow and summary that I want to talk about. So again, we talked about our customers. So our customers in GP, how they can flow to accounts in CRM, whether that's a new record or updating that record. So as I make changes in either system, it keeps it in sync. Customer addresses, that's a key concern for a lot of our customers, being able to see all their different locations. So you have those customer addresses stored in GP. Being able to have those integrated as well, so you can see all ship to locations, bill to locations. The products, so again, no double entry of products between the systems. Typically we see our customers use GP as the master for these. So as a product is added to GP, it then flows automatically to Dynamics 365, where it'll have the most updated pricing so that our salespeople can use this for their opportunities. The ability to have price lists, the unit of measure, so being able to have that information in there. And then finally, getting back to the sales and in orders. So the sales orders, whether they're generated in CRM or GP, you can have it flow both ways. So that would be a conversation that we need to have with you. What's the best way of doing this? And then finally, obviously, you want to use GP as that master accounting system. So as you generate those invoices in GP, have them flow automatically to CRM. So that's our general flow. I'm going to move to some closing remarks here. So the key thing I want to let you know here is we're just scratching the surface of Dynamics 365. So we talked about that general sales process, but there's so much more that Dynamics 365 has to offer. The ability to track customer service, have actionable marketing capabilities, extensions such as field service, voice of the customer, which is a really brand new survey marketing tool that we have. So not needing to use, again, more applications that you've used in the past to generate surveys that have really strict limitations or can be really costly or limit the amount of sends. All these things are included directly within the Dynamics 365 platform. Other applications such as Inside View, the ability to have the CRM programmatically pull just simply based off a name and address information about a company. So the last part I'd like to say about the capabilities is, again, keep in mind that it's flexible. It doesn't just need to be managing your sales and customer service processes. We have CRM manage all sorts of things such as license renewals and various industry specific processes. So if you're sitting on 3 different systems right now, we constantly see our customers consolidate those systems into just Dynamics 365 and have been very happy with it. So as far as the capabilities, that's about as far as I want to go, but I highly encourage you, if you have a question on whether something might be a fit, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about it. And again, if you do even have those other platforms, keep in mind that these integrations are flexible. It's not just between CRM and ERP all the time. If we understand that the quoting out of Dynamics 365 may not be robust enough to handle some of the things. I mean, some of our customers have invested heavily into just quoting systems. We can integrate with those as well. We have a very strong, capable integration team that builds custom integrations all the time between other platforms. So being able to pull that quote into CRM and then have it flow through CRM into GP. So just to give you an idea of the kind of the web that you can build. And also speaking to the flexibility, remember that with these integrations, you're able to determine not only just the flow, but in the standard form. So I know a lot of our customers are concerned, hey, we added these things that weren't necessarily out of the box to GP or CRM. Are you able to integrate with that? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Our integration team is very flexible. We utilize very powerful tools that allow us to do that, as well as run all sorts of automation based on certain steps that are happening. So again, I want to go back to really quick to bring this full circle, the reasons why. You want to increase your efficiency, building that framework where your sales team, your customer service team, your accounting team, everything's entered one time. And I guarantee, if that's a current problem for you, that your ROI is going to be recovered almost immediately. Your visibility, again, in a global world now, your salespeople are traveling all over the place, and your competition is going to have tools such as this where they're going to always have that little edge up. So it's always about getting just that little bit more of a custom touch in this world where a lot of times there is no more face-to-face. So giving you that little custom edge where your sales team is constantly aware and shows that they care about your customers can go a long way. And again, the revenue that this brings, I don't know that we've ever really had a customer that's regretted putting this integration in or hasn't seen the revenue come in and recoup those costs almost immediately. So with that, I did want to leave some time at the end. I know I went through kind of quickly a lot of this, and you might have a lot of questions. So I'm going to go ahead and open up to Kim. Do we currently have any questions right now?
No, we don't. So on the right-hand side, everybody could type in questions that you would like to ask Ryan. I guess a couple of things. There's a lot of different tools. Can you reiterate again some of the tools that we've been using in doing integrations?
Yeah, So within our own Dynamics 365, we do integrate with our back-end accounting. So, the ability to have these projects that we've created in CRM. So again, we've expanded on CRM to handle our projects, handle our, our billing, our expenses. All of this integrates back to our back-end ERP. So again, it's nice to have it for, our sales staff, our consulting staff, a lot of our admin staff that obviously we don't want to train and add everybody as users into GP. They can use this very familiar tool within Dynamics 365 that they can ramp up very quickly on and get that information over. Other tools that we've used in the past and are currently using, the ability to, as I said, generate quotes. So just using that simple quote tool, have it pull that information into a logo branded quote, as well as have it put in all sorts of information automatically. So, any conditions or anything like that. Not having to manually type that in, but still having the ability to edit it after the fact. So being able to export it as PDFs, Words, etc. We do use all sorts of Excel templates, so you can export data directly out of Excel and have it pull in automatically into charts, and you can slice and dice the information from there. So those are just some of the ways that we're currently using CRM and integrating with our ERP.
Okay, and so one other question, are we using Scribe, eConnect? What's the tool that we're using for doing the integration?
Yeah, so depending on the complexity of the integration, we do use a number of tools. And we work to fit your budget, and that's important to us. We understand that the complexity of these integrations, we don't want to go overkill with certain products. So we have products such as Scribe, where we can basically take it as far as we need to go. You tell us exactly what it needs, and Scribe pretty much has the capability to do it. We also partner with other companies such as eConnect, who also has a really strong tool that can build integrations as well. So the key thing to keep in mind is our consulting staff. We've been experts in this space for years. This is something that we've really built on as a niche strength for our practice. Being able to have these consultants on the CRM, ERP side, as well as specific integration consultants that this is the majority of the work that they do. So being able to specialize and have all these people talking, it's been a big benefit for us.
Okay. Michelle asked a question, and this is looking forward, Michelle, so good for you. And it says, can you integrate from an in-house, meaning an on-premise GP install, with the cloud CRM?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. We definitely have that capability, and that's a great question. So, if you're GP on-prem and you currently have CRM online or CRM on-prem, we have the ability to integrate to any of those tools. So whether it's hosted in the cloud or on-prem, we certainly have that capability, and we've gone through integrations many times where that's the case.
Yep, I think that's becoming more and more common, especially with so many of us using tablets, PCs on the road, things like that, to have that capability, Michelle. So good for you to start thinking that way. Everything's going to be in the cloud in 10 years, right? All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, so much. Any last words of advice before we let folks go?
No, I just want to thank everybody for taking their time. I know we ended a little bit early, but again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you have specific needs, we'd love to talk to you and, hear you out and see how we can help you out and get your systems integrated.
Sounds good. Thank you. And thank you, everybody.